my enchanted peeps. I am here today doing the weekly Oracle card Tarotscope reading for the week of November the 9th to the 15th, I think it is. Somebody pointed out in my last one that I missed Libra, so I'm so sorry to Libras last week that I missed you. And I will make sure to remember everyone, every sign this week. And once again, you probably know your sun sign, so pay attention to that. But if you also know your moon sign and you know your ascendant, pay attention to those ones as well. So this week I'm going to be using Les Vampires, which is the Oracle deck I'm using for the month if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook. So that's what the back looks like there. So let's do some shuffling and see what the cards say. Oh, one popped out, so I think that means we need to stop for this week. So I'm just going to cut. Okay, so as always, we start with Aries. For Aries, we have redemption, absolution, forgiveness, penance. That's what it looks like there. So Aries, this week may be a time where you may need to take a look at some of the things that you feel you didn't do as well as maybe you thought you might do, and maybe trying to resolve those things. And that might mean asking for forgiveness from someone, or somebody might be coming to you asking for forgiveness about something. There may be someone saying, hey, you know what, I didn't do the best in this situation, and you may have to think about whether or not you are able to forgive them. So forgiveness is going to be an issue this week. Also, forgiving yourself, you know, looking back at your past. You might be doing some shadow work this week. You might be looking back at things, looking back at the year and thinking, how could I have done things better? What could I have done this week? So that is Aries. Taurus, we have ancient, ancestry, Egypt, magical inheritance, and that's what it looks like there. So this is a week, Taurus, where you may want to look into exploring some magical type things, maybe doing a little more study, looking into ancient mythology, you know, anything that kind of sparks your interest. Not necessarily Egypt, I think, but anything that sparks your interest there. And also maybe looking into some ancestral work. This is still a really good time of year for that. I know Samhain and Halloween's past, but it's still a time of year when we're dealing with, you know, the end of the year and death and that kind of thing. So for Gemini, we have immortal, the consuming family, and the pressure of peers. Oh, I'm dropping things on the floor. All right, that is what that one looks like there. So Gemini, you may be feeling under a lot of pressure this week to conform to other people's expectations, whether that is your family or your friends around you who are, you know, pressuring you to behave in certain ways or to do things a certain way, and maybe you don't want to. I mean, there is a certain safety and comfort in tradition and in doing things the way that other people do, but, you know, sometimes that can be stifling. And so you have to ask yourself, you know, where am I being kind of stifled? Where am I being pressured? Where in my life am I acting in ways that I don't really want to, but I'm doing it to appease others? And that might be something to explore this week, Gemini. For Cancer, we have love conquers all, enduring loyalty, eternal love, and lasting commitment. So for Cancer this week, this is going to be a really great week for love, obviously. I'm losing my words, but anyway, it's going to be a really good week for love, for commitment, looking at, you know, what you want for the long term in your romantic relationships, but also, you know, friends that you've had for a long time. Maybe you get together with friends you haven't seen in a while, but you've known for a really long time, and just reconnecting and knowing that the connection is always there. So a really great week for Cancer to be expressing, you know, their love for others. So that is Cancer there. All right, so I'm just making sure I'm trying to be careful not to forget anybody because I did last week. Okay, so I've got my Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. Okay, Leo, that's me. Sacrifice, renunciation, offering, letting go. That's sacrifice there. So this is a week, Leos, where you may have to give something up for the greater good or for something that you are looking at for the long term. So letting go of immediate gratification and looking at what you want for the long term. It's also a good week to let go, to purge, to get rid of things that no longer serve you anymore. That may be cleaning out a closet, cleaning out a drawer, but it can also be letting go of maybe relationships or situations that don't really work for you anymore. So that's an important thing for you this week, Leos. Virgo, we have knowledge, study, learning, and education. So For Virgos this week, obviously, good week to study. If you're in school, this is a week to really like put your head in the books and just study. But even if you're not, just learning things, just trying to take the time to learn some stuff that maybe you're interested in, taking time to read, taking time for yourself to kind of like, you know, gather knowledge that you want. It's sort of like a very self-caring kind of thing. So that's what I see for Virgos this week. Libra, not forgetting you this week, Libra. We got creator, catalyst, maker, mother, father. So this is a great week for creativity, Libras, and also for looking at your creations. Now that could be your children, your actual children, or things that you've created art-wise and letting them go out into the world and kind of be their own person. But you kind of have to take a look at how you deal with your creations. Are you nurturing of them? Are you smothering, like too nurturing? Or do you just sort of like back off and then go, whatever, I'm done with it? So looking at all those things, like how you deal with your creativity and what you do with your creations once they're created and put out into the world. Scorpio, we have a hunter, aggressor, tracker, and provider. So that is Scorpio there. So hunter can be looked at in sort of a positive or a negative way, in that, you know, preying on people, which obviously we don't want to do, that's a bad thing. But also you could be focused, like you're focused on your goal, you know what you want this week, and so you're going after it, and you're able to provide for others around you and take care of them and nurture them, which is, you know, another positive aspect of hunting. So focusing on that, you know, just going for your goals, really like, you know, focusing on them, focusing your time this week on going after what it is that you want. For Sagittarius, we have outsider, misfit, loner, wanderer. That's there. So Sagittarius, don't be afraid this week to embrace your kind of wild side, the side of you that's different. Don't be afraid to, you know, go after different things that maybe other people aren't interested in, and to express your individuality this week. So a good week for that. Also to try something new this week. You know, if you you know, invited to something you wouldn't usually go to, it might be a good time to have a little adventure and do that. Capricorn, we have reason, listen to advice, think clearly, intellect. That's a really nice one there. I like that. So obviously, Capricorn, a good week for you if you're in school as well for studying. But this is a week too where you have to kind of like, if you're making decisions, be logical about it and not just, you know, go with your emotions or go with sort of whims. You have to kind of step back, take a really logical look and look at the pros and cons and weigh them out, and also seek advice from people that you trust as well. You also might be getting, you know, people coming to you for advice. You might have to step back and really think about what they're asking you for. For Aquarius, we have transgression, flaws, contradictions, mistakes. So we're only human, we all make mistakes, and this is a week where you, much like Aries, may have to take a look at something that you've done that you're not too happy with, or something somebody's done to you that you're not happy about, and thinking about forgiveness. And it's also about, you know, we all have flaws, and embracing your flaws, as far as like, it doesn't mean like, oh, I'm selfish and I'm going to be a bitch to people. That's not what I'm talking about. But, you know, none of us are perfect. We all have flaws, and being accepting and forgiving of them, and knowing that, you know, it's part of the journey, learning and making mistakes and thinking, how could I have done this better? So that is what I see for you this week, Aquarius. Okay, Pisces, we have free will, sovereignty, independence, free spirit. So there seems to be a bit of a theme going on here with a few of the signs where we're talking about our free will as opposed to what other people want and finding that balance. So Pisces, you're really going to be looking at that this week and looking at, you know, where's my free will? Where am I making the decisions, and where are other people imposing it on me this week? So really go with kind of what feels the most freeing and independent for you this week, because it's kind of like you're breaking free of things and you're wanting to go out there and be more independent, instead of relying so much on what other people think this week. Yeah, so then we have underneath, oh, it's the cover. Interesting. Seduction, allure, desire, and manipulation. So that is the theme for this week for everybody. So, you know, obviously manipulation, you know, obviously not a good thing most time when people use that word. You know, we don't want to be manipulating others, but at the same time too, it also talks about allure and desire, and how, you know, going after the things that are alluring to you, but also making sure that it isn't seducing you at the same time away from other things. So, you know, finding that balance between doing the things that you want to do as opposed to what other people are imposing on you. So it's important that we express our free will, but to make sure we're not being manipulated by others into doing things that we don't want to do. At the same time, too, looking at the big picture so that it's not all me, me, me all the time. And that's kind of the overall theme that I've been getting for this week. And as far as like looking at the cards here, some of the signs need to be a little more independent this week, and other signs need to kind of look at how their actions are affecting others. And that's kind of the overall theme I got this week. Also, allure and desire really makes me think about this time of year is a good time to kind of look at how we're caring for ourselves. It's going to be a busy time soon with the holidays coming up, holiday season. We're kind of in a pause between Halloween and I know for Americans Thanksgiving coming up at the end of November. And so it's a time to really look at, how am I caring for myself, especially as we're going to go into a busy season. It's also